Snap back, quarterback rolling right. He's looking end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
Saturdays are sacred. A football podcast.
What is up, everybody? My name is CJ. I'm alongside Cody. And Saturdays are sacred here. We're talking college football. And there's a lot that's happening. There's a lot of something we need to take out. Obviously, there's been a lot of firings that's happening so far in college football, kind of an unprecedented time. But before we get too into the weeds and get deep into the conversation today, Cody, how are you doing today?
Doing well, yeah, a little under the weather, but maybe that's just because I'm watching ACC football. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Like doing good this morning. But yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Like I'm good in the physical sense, right? But in terms of the sense of the fact that I'm still suffering from this debacle between ESPN and YouTube TV, not being able to watch my Georgia Bulldogs play. It is really, I'm suffering from that.
Thank God my apartment pays for DirecTV, or else I'd be probably in the same boat.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're very lucky. I do have, actually, you know what? Crap, I do have Spectrum TV. I just realized that.
There you go.
I just realized. Oh, man. So, yeah, okay. Now, maybe I'm going to up and up. But the one thing I know is not on the up and up, and that is ACC conference football. We'll talk more about that. And it's a lot to talk about, but let's kind of start from where we kind of ended last week, right? So we kind of, right as we ended last week, breaking news happened with Auburn football in the SEC, and Hugh Freeze is no longer in charge of that football team of War Eagle, right? War damn Eagle, they say down there. So, Cody, let me ask you this. Was this firing warranted, or do you think Hugh Freeze should have got more time?
I mean, what was this, his third year? So that's not a lot of time to turn around a program that was pretty bad off after the Brian Harsin firing. But I just think like Hugh Freeze, he kind of seems like a dirtbag, but like that's a conversation for another. It's funny when you ever Googled Hugh Freeze, and it's funny, like the first thing you find when you Google him is a picture of him golfing, and it's like,
yes,
that's not what you want from your head coach. Yeah,
that's something that popped up I saw on Twitter, where it was like one way someone realized that if he was possibly getting fired because they posted like his tee time, his like weekly tee time got canceled. So that's when speculation happened before the news came out that he got fired, which is insane.
Insane that like you say that about a SEC head coach, a major program, and then like I think he's all 3 seasons. Like this season they're going to have a winning season. Last season they went 6-6 and lost their bowl game, which I don't know if you count those as much, but yeah, 3 straight losing seasons technically if you count the bowl game. And just seemed like there was no momentum there. Like he was supposed to be like this quarterback guy, this offensive guy. And this offseason, when they went and got Jackson Arnold, I'm like, what have you seen from Jackson Arnold that makes you think that he could go from, being the Oklahoma quarterback who was awful last year, and then all of a sudden you can turn him around? And it's not like they don't have good players. I mean, Cam Coleman's a stud. Like he made a couple of catches yesterday. You're just like, wow, like this guy's good. How come they haven't gotten this guy the ball? And it's like, oh, because Jackson Arnold can't get him the ball. So like you make those mistakes in the portal. You obviously not all bought in because people like your tea time is newsworthy. That should never be a thing. And it's like, I don't know. The Auburn job to me, like a lot of people talk about the Auburn job being a great job. I don't know. Like you're definitely second fiddle in your own state. It's Alabama, and you're always going to be second fiddle in your own state. This is their 5th straight losing season. Yeah, because they're not going to, I mean, they'd have to win out to make a bowl. So they're going to win against Mercer next week. They're, the annual SEC Cupcake week. And then I had to throw that out there. And then then they got Bama. Then they got Bama at the end of the year. So that's probably an L, but those games always are weird. So maybe they can pull out something out of their ass and beat Bama. I mean, they took Vanderbilt to overtime in Vanderbilt yesterday. So, but that's with the new interim coach. I think it's DJ Durkin. So maybe it's all of a sudden he's out the building and you score 38 points, but he's in the building and you were just straight a defensive team. He's supposed to be an offensive guy. So I think it was justified. The program wasn't going anywhere under him. Didn't seem like there was any like togetherness there, but I just don't know how good of a job this is. I feel like there's programs in the SEC that have passed them by. Like you got passed by Vanderbilt. You got passed by Tennessee. Like, where are you at in like the SEC hierarchy? Like, are you middle of the pack? Are you towards the bottom with like South Carolina and Kentucky? I don't know. It's a tough question because you lost to Kentucky. So it's like, I think it was justified. I don't know how good of a job this is, and we'll see what they could do because supposedly Auburn's got a lot of money, so they'll probably bring in some big name, but we'll see if it changes anything.
So, all right, I'm trying to figure out how I want to attack this because there's so many ways I want to attack this with Auburn and Hugh Freeze, right? So I'll give Hugh Freeze this, right? He can recruit, and he's like an old school recruiter, Urban Meyer type recruiter.
Right.
And he brought in talent. I think his biggest misstep was definitely Jackson Arnold. I think he still saw that he could, because like I saw videos of how he was getting babied and how he was really trying to nurture Jackson Arnold to make sure that he was like good. Like, I don't want to have to baby my quarterback. That just sets the tone for the rest of your team. And it's like, why we gotta? It's like, whatever, right? Cam Coleman, obviously, they get good talent, and you can bring in good talent. Obviously, Deuce Knight is not ready yet, I guess. Like, he's also a stud quarterback. That
he's a freshman, right?
Yeah, he's a true freshman. He just came in this year.
Yeah.
So, like, could he stay? That's a retention person that you need to work on getting, bringing back into the fold. So, like, I think the thing is, because the talent that Hugh Freeze has already brought in, I think is attractive. I do think the fact that Auburn didn't hire Cadillac Williams after he was an interim was a big mistake because he had that whole locker room bought in and was really wanting to play for him. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know how good he would be at recruiting, that Hugh Freeze has that reputation of being a good recruiter, right? And then people say that, like, Hugh Freeze, maybe his level right now is just to be at a G5 team. Like, your Liberties, your JMUs, or whoever who wants to try to make a splash, right? And that might be it for him, honestly, because where you're not going to be suspected to be good, like, you know what I mean? So as long as he has enough money to get good talent in, I think, he has good enough reputation to get guys there. In terms of the Auburn job, I do think it's a upper tier SEC job. Obviously, I do think they've shown they have good money. I think they have some decent boosters.
Yeah, I think they got money. Yeah.
So I think it's still like a top. I would put it over Arkansas. I would probably put it over Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Over Oklahoma State, over UCLA. Like, it's probably the fourth best job after Penn State, LSU, and Florida. You can make the case against.
I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because Alabama is also a rough. Like, you're going to be competing with Alabama in your state, so that is tough. But I don't know. It's something about Auburn. I just think I low key would put Auburn like at the same level as Penn State. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
I think and that's what I hear from a lot of people saying that, but it's like, I feel like Penn State could be the top 3 team like they have been in the Big Ten pretty easily again, I think. Just get the right coach in there, you get the right system. But can Auburn ever be a top 3 team with Bama, Georgia, Texas, LSU, A&M now? It looks like can they ever be in the top 5 consistently? Because, I mean, Penn State was a top 3 consistent Big Ten team for, nearly a decade. But now you got Oregon in there. If USC figures their stuff out, if Washington, like maybe Penn State's not a top 3 team anymore.
I think they are.
Just Indiana doing their thing.
I think they're in the same point because, yes, like, I think currently what James Franklin did to keep them up there, but now this is the new Big Ten. And I think one of the reasons why they fired Franklin is because they do forecast scenario where we are, because like the Big Ten is constantly trying to acquire big talent because there's still going to be talks about Clemson, Florida State,
Notre Dame,
SMU possibly trying to find new homes
soon,
until where they could either be absorbed in the SEC or the Big Ten. So then it's like, well, we could be losing a battle in terms of money. Again, we're doing really good right now, right? We're doing pretty solidly right now in terms of trying to get players, but we got to make sure that we stay up here. And I think that's the same with Auburn. Like, I think Auburn was starting to get to a point to where they were competing and getting, like, they were stealing, they were flipping a lot of these 5 stars, 4 stars on deadline day, on National Signing Day or whatever, and it was looking really good. And then, but obviously the product on the field. So it's like, I do feel like Auburn maybe jumped the beat a little bit, because I think you just had to get past the Jackson Arnold. Obviously, the Jackson Arnold was not the best move, but I think that they were recruiting. What happened to that 5-year window that coaches used to get to rebuild programs? What happened to
that's gone. That's gone. I mean, look at it. It's like Napier, Kelly, and Hugh Freeze haven't hit their 5-year mark yet. Now, Napier and Kelly were in their 4th year, and it was definitely trending in the wrong direction.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's like a 3-year window now, because people think, you could build it quicker because you have the portal, but it's like, okay, but then you could be like Mike Norvell and you use the portal a ton, and 1 year it pops, the next 2 years it doesn't, and you're on the other end. So it's like you can kind of live and die by the portal. And he was doing good in high school recruiting, like you said. He brought in Deuce Knight. I think, was Cam Coleman a high school, or was he a transfer? I think he was
high school.
I think he was high school, and they have good talent on the defensive side as well. So it's like he brought in good talent. It's just like he couldn't match that talent on Saturdays. And I feel like that's a lot of college coaches. There's a lot of college coaches that can recruit really well. But then, I like the James Franklin, like a Mario Cristobal, they can recruit their ass off. Mm-hmm. And then you get them on a 3rd and 5 in the 4th quarter, and they're lost. They just don't know how to, they don't know how to coach on Saturday. And it's like, that's how you should be better at staffing, so your staff can take over this. But I don't know. I've always heard about, because you always hear about Auburn, Auburn's like a sleeping giant. They get the right coach in there, and they didn't even need the right coach when they had Cam Newton, because it was Cam Newton. And then I think 2 years later with Malzahn, they made it again and lost to Jameis and Florida State. So they don't even maybe need a top end head coach if you can get the right guys there. Now you can pay them legally.
A system type team, where you have just an electric play caller, right?
Right.
Also, Cam Coleman, he was originally committed to Texas A&M and got flipped on signing day.
Imagine him with Concepcion and Craver right now. I don't know if they pick up both those guys, but just. Yeah,
and the thing is, I feel like maybe he wanted to flip because he wanted to stay closer to home, because he is from Alabama. He's an Alabama guy. So does that mean he just goes across these, the war, the Iron Bowl, and start to do whatever,
right?
And then go play for whoever was it, Russell, Keon Russell, who's the next coming up for Alabama next year, or possibly Ty Simpson for another year, right?
Could be. Mm-hmm.
So it's like that could be juicy, to be honest with you, really juicy.
Yeah,
and so I would be really excited to watch, to see that. But again, they have really good talent. If you throw all your money at Cam Coleman and Deuce Knight and say these are the two that's going to lead us to the promised land, and then whoever takes over this job gets to get those 2 pillars on your team, I mean,
it's huge. Yeah.
You
got something to build off of there. Let Jackson Arnold go play for Louisiana Monroe or something like that. Go to a lower level and
go with General Booty went. General Booty
was
you at Monroe.
Yeah, so I was just trying to throw out a small school, but is there a name out there? Do you think that a coach for Auburn has to have the Auburn SEC ties? Because you always hear that. They hired Harsin from Boise State, and from the jump, no one liked that. They're like, why are we hiring the Boise State coach to coach out here? And then you get Freeze, who he had success at Ole Miss, but he was also doing some shady stuff, and then he didn't work out. So this does
stellar. You got that. People who talk about Ohio State, obviously Ohio State and LSU are great, but that Ole Miss class that he had of AJ Brown and
DK,
and
they had some nice they had some good pieces. Who was it?
It was a tight end too that was good.
There was a tight end that was good.
Let me look it up. But
yeah,
the direction for Auburn, which way do they go? Is I'm gonna keep putting this name out there. Charles Huff from Southern Miss. It would be in that Hardison lane in terms of it's a guy he's at the Sun Belt level, right? And he's
Mhm.
won at Marshall and he's won in Mississippi, which is, not the most money. So it's like, but he's doing it. He's turning around a program in a couple years. And so he's building something. And now we just want to see if he can do that at an SEC level, right? But with more resources, could he still win? I really want to see Charles Huff get that opportunity at Auburn. I think it'll be a sensational hire. Well, I don't know, like what name that's big enough for Auburn, because Auburn's really not going to get that big, expensive name. I don't think that's their lane. I think they want to have the name value, but it's the value part that I think they're trying to get. Dan Mulling from UNLV, maybe that might be the
back value. To the SEC. Yeah,
right.
Third time around. That could be interesting. Maybe like a Tony White from Virginia. I like the G5 options. You got
Tony Elliott.
Tony Elliott, not Tony White. Tony White's the defensive coordinator at Florida State. But I like even Summerall from Tulane, maybe even Golish from USF. I mean, that's a step up for them. If they have Southern ties, they've recruited in the South now because they're down there in that same kind of area, so that could help. But maybe they can pull someone from the Big 12 or ACC. Because I think right now, if you're not in the Big 10 or SEC, you're trying to get into the Big 10 or SEC as a coach because your salary is bigger because the schools are getting more money. You're getting more TV opportunities. You're just getting more opportunities. Like, I mean, look at Cignetti. He takes the Indiana job, and 2 years later, he's making like $13 million a year from Indiana. It's like, holy crap. So I think could you pull a guy? I'm trying to think of the guys like from the Big 12 that you could pull, maybe even a Kenny Dillingham. Maybe he can come over. Is that much of an upgrade over Arizona State to go to Auburn? Maybe. You get a chance to get in the SEC. Let's hear it.
And I think you could get him I don't want to say you can get him. I think he still get paid from the Raiders. John Gruden.
I keep hearing that too. I heard that about LSU this week. I think LSU would be too much for him to jump. Like, your first college job can't be LSU. That's a lot of pressure. But Auburn, that could be interesting.
Because I just think they need that, like, oh, we got John Gruden. And that's what, like, I think that's what Auburn is in a sense. Like, it's like, I don't want to disrespect Auburn, War Eagle, right?
Right.
But like, they want the flash of the name, but don't necessarily want to pay the dollars of exactly who that person is, or you know what I mean. So like that's what I'm saying. It has to be like sexy enough to sell to their fan base, but reasonable because my pocket is good. My pockets are solid,
right? But they're not that good.
Yeah. Like, would James Franklin do something to you if they were to get him there? Would that entice you enough, right? Would what's his name?
Franklin would be interesting. I mean, he recruits really well. I would want to know who's on his staff. How many people is he bringing over from Penn State? Like, is he bringing what's the defensive coordinator's name? Jim Knowles.
Right.
Is he bringing the Kotal Nicky the like how many is he bringing? Because you almost have the same issue with Franklin. He's going to recruit really well, but can he coach on Saturdays? That you just had that issue with
and that's because Franklin doesn't call plays, right?
No, not anymore. He hasn't in a while. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you probably will need a play caller type to be your guy. So Golish would be one of those people, or at least who has like a underlink under him.
Yeah.
Is Auburn a better job than Ole Miss?
For Lane, if you're Lane, I don't think you could leave for Auburn. Like, I could see you leaving for LSU and maybe even Florida, but I don't know if Auburn's a better job than Ole Miss right now, to be honest. Like today, sitting here 2025, I don't know if it's a better job. It may pay a little bit more, but I mean, Lane's probably going to get it. If he stays there, he's probably going to get close to 11, 12 million.
Easily. But that's the thing, but can Ole Miss afford that? Because then it's like, if you pour all your resources into me, then it's like, well, where's my bank looking like?
Right. What's my
staff? That's also which is like a big question. Yeah,
that's a big. I don't know. If you're gonna leave, if you're Lane, because I think if he wanted to leave, the LSU or Florida job would be his. Like if he wants it, those jobs are his. And so it's like, might as well, if you're going to leave, take one of those jobs, then take Auburn.
You definitely should be. If you're Auburn, and would Lincoln Riley move you?
I think unless you just want to get in the SEC, obviously I'm an SC fan, but I think that's a downgrade of a job. I think Auburn's a downgrade. And then like you've spent all this time building up. Now they're pretty good this year. They're 7-2. They could win out beating Oregon. They got a shot maybe to make the playoff, but you're getting some momentum. Right now you have the number 1 recruiting class in 2026. So there's some momentum. It's like you leave for LSU. Okay, I get it. You leave for Auburn. I would be like, you just wanted to get out. Like you couldn't handle it anymore. You just wanted to get out. Like, is that like you did at Oklahoma? A lot of people say. So it's like, I think that would be kind of, I don't know. It would be an odd move because like money's not an issue. They got you. They got you a big home. They're getting your staff a bunch of condos and stuff like that in LA. He's getting 11 mil. Yeah. So I don't think
I most likely want to see Riley leave because I wanted this storyline to happen where Lane Kiffin returns to USC. I want to see. I don't know if he'd be welcome back to town.
I don't know if he'd want to because he got straight up tarmacked, and that's like where the term came from. But I would sign up for that. Like a lot of people are like, oh, what if Riley's like, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be that upset. Like I'd be upset, but I would be like, okay, like this is 4th year and we're like having to scratch just to get into playoff contention. So it's like, I don't know if I'd be that upset. And I don't know. So I would take Kiffin back. And I think Kiffin's matured since he was there. So I think he would be much better. Yeah. He went to the Saban School of Coaching for a couple of years. So, but if he would do it, because both his daughters went to USC, so it's like he doesn't hate the school. He's not like telling them stay away from there.
Gave them a lot of money.
Gave him a lot of money. And I bet you deep down he would want a second chance to see if he could prove it because he failed there. So it's like, yeah, maybe deep down he'd be like, let's try it again. Let's try it again, see what happens. I mean, I'd be all for that. I think Kiffin is a better coach right now than Riley. But yeah, that would be an interesting. So that would be interesting. I mean, the headlines would be nuts for that. That would get a lot of headlines.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's pivot a little bit and we'll kind of move a little quick with this one. So with the speculation with Maryland and Mike Locksley, I'm not sure. He was on the sidelines yesterday for that loss to Rutgers, but it might be seen to be writing on the wall for Maryland and Mike Locksley, which, it's one of those things where it looked like he was moving positively, more wins, bold wins, but then it's just like, this is the year you got Malik Washington. I think he's an absolute stud. He's going to be.
I like him too.
Quarterback. And you got talent, and you're getting commit. You got one of the number 1 edge rusher in 2026 class come in. You want to see that growth, and you got a stud edge rusher now who's a true freshman this year that was like leading before I don't know if he's still hurt or not, but he was just a havoc. And you're going to have 2 really good young edge rushers next year. So like you want to see this team make progression, and the secondary for Maryland has been great. And there's always been it's been like the last like 5-6 years. It's like a guy every year that's getting drafted from the secondary. So like I feel like there's pieces around everywhere. And then obviously they got really good receivers. Todd Felton last year was really good. He was like one of their go-to slot receivers. Like he just doesn't drop anything. I think there's so much talent on this Maryland team, but it's just underperforming consistently, especially against bigger teams. They don't elevate. They don't rise up to the occasion. And they'll beat on a little team like it's like your little brother. Like they'll beat on them crazy, right? And but it's just never like enough to really like, oh man, like this Maryland. Like I feel like every time they go 5-0, they'll go 4-0, 5-0 every year. And I'm like, oh, this could probably be the year, right?
Right.
And then especially because I was like, okay, the schedule's not that bad. Like there's not too many crazy top-notch teams, but you lose to UCLA. Obviously, Indiana is really good this year, so that wasn't. But they only had to play Indiana and Michigan this year, which were like the really good teams. And they could have been good, but then they lost in Nebraska on really bad play. Like they should have won that game, but it was a lot of mistakes. So it's just like I love this Maryland. I think there's a lot of talent on this Maryland team, but it's just Mike Locks. I just don't think he's the right guy for it. And I'm going to James Madison right now, and I'm getting what is his name? whoever, the head coach from James Madison. And I'm getting him because he already is in Virginia. He's recruiting well. He's from that JMU pipeline and worked really good from getting a JMU coach in the Big Ten before. Go get him. It's almost at the top of my head. It's almost at the top of my head.
I can picture him. I don't know his name, but
it's like Esther's. I don't know.
But yeah, he recruits that DMV area. But yeah, it's funny how that you said like they always seem to start off 4-0, 5-0, and you're like, yeah, maybe Maryland's got something there, and then they get into like the meat of their conference schedule, and you're just like, there you go, Bob Chesney, there we go. Yeah, and they get in the meat of their conference schedule, and you're just like lost, and then they just get once they lose a couple of games, it kind of just snowballs from there. Like yesterday, they lose to Rutgers. I don't know if it was at home or if it was at Rutgers, but either way, you shouldn't be losing to Rutgers regardless, home or road. But yeah, like you said, they got talent there. Malik Washington, I think they're tasked this offseason because he's going to get calls. He's going to get calls for bags. And so they're going to have to try to keep him in-house, going to have to see if they could sign that D-end in this class as well, get him in the fold. But so does Loxley get another year because these are his guys? Maybe.
That's why he got this year.
That's
Loxley
what exactly.
Should have been fired last year because of the fact that Malik was coming in next year. So, and then I like Pep, but this offense is still not.
No, it's still, and it's like you have talent there, and right now they're probably at the bottom of they're right now they're with Rutgers at the bottom of the Big Ten with Wisconsin this year. So it's like,
and they're so much better than a lot of these teams.
Yeah,
so much better, and it doesn't make any sense, bro. It makes no sense.
And the DMV, like there's talent there. So there's talent to get there. So it's like you could get talent there. They're not all going to the SEC. They're not all going. So it's like you can get talent there. It's a good like middle of the pack job to kind of get you. You could win 6-7 games a year, and it's just like you can't consistently do that. They're missing bowl games. Yeah, 6-7. They're missing bowl games. They're losing at home to Rutgers and other teams like that. Losing to a Nebraska team that's good, but you had opportunities to win the game. Not that good. And then losing to UCLA. It's like So you don't want to fall behind teams like UCLA and Rutgers in your own conference, and now all of a sudden you're looking up and you're like the 12th best team in the conference.
Right, and like I'm looking at like because the thing is like I like to try to watch their games and support. Like Maryland's such a great area. Ohio, Pennsylvania, DC, DMV, New Jersey, New York. You're right in the middle of where you can get really great talent and really good pipelines of kids to come to Maryland. And especially if you get that like second tier, like obviously if you want to get the top tier guys in the DMV, which there's some really good guys there, and then maybe bud for that second tier guys in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, that you're obviously going to be competing with Penn State with, but you can collect the talent, and it's just coaching them up because they're doing it. Like we're sending guys to the league and they're making a good impression. They're doing solid in the league. And it's just like,
I think the question is that we have about all this is like, does college football have a coaching problem? Because like all these guys can recruit. They can all recruit, but they can't coach and develop. And it's like, yes, a lot of them haven't gotten a ton of time. They haven't gotten a ton, like a lot of them are getting fired 2, 3, 4 years in. I get that, but it's also just like you're still getting guys that are just studs. And even like James Franklin, he could recruit and he put a ton of guys in the league. But on Sundays, they look great. And on Saturdays, you're like, okay, well, why couldn't they do this at
consistently
at Penn State? It's like, where was this guy at Penn State? Why wasn't he doing this? Like Chris Godwin was a guy that he had. Does anybody really know what Chris Godwin did in college? Not really. But then he goes to the NFL.
Even though Chris Godwin went to Penn State.
Went to Penn State. And even Barkley. Barkley had good years at Penn State. But think of how much better he could have been if he played for some other coaches. Like, and then the quarterback position, I think that's a major issue. Is the quarterback development in college is like a huge issue, and like this year is the worst because there's about 5 guys we thought could be like first round talents this year, and none of them. A couple of them, I don't even know if they get drafted this year if they came out. It's like it's gotten that bad. So it's like I think coaching and development is really a big thing there, but it's like maybe it's just how it is now. Everything's okay. You got the portal and NIL. You can either just pay or get guys from the portal. It's like no, you still got to develop them. You still got to coach them. You still got to develop them.
Do you think this issue is an effect of NIL because of the fact that like some of these kids are like, I hate doing this. Like, I don't want to feel like this old boomer type person,
Right.
but like, do you think we're feeding these kids? To be quite honest with you, like if you want to put it that way, we're feeding these kids. So seeing that hunger, we're not getting those hungry guys who are out there for their development. It's like they're like, man, F this game. Well, we suck today. I'm just gonna drive home in my Lambo and whatever. I got my check cleared. Like I saw some kid, they just lost. And he posted on social media, he just counting his money. So I guess his NIL money just came in. He didn't care. Like, he lost. So is it, obviously you want to have those guys who are like, this is still a stepping stone for me. Because like, yes, I want to get my education, yada, yada. But like, I also like, I plan on being a Sunday player. Right. And there are guys like that who do well. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith is still just about his business and he's just actually elite. But I just think it's like, it feels like an economy in America where it's like, I feel like it's a dividing of the upper elites and that middle class is diminishing in a sense, right? Like it's like where are those guys who are good football players? Who I know like we shouldn't expect to see their full potential yet, but like this is a good football player. This is a good football player. And in terms of especially for the quarterback, it's like, oh, this is a good football player. I can see where he can continue to develop. But now it's just like it's just a lot of raw. But it's like, I don't know if he can develop or not. Like, it's still a lot of question marks, right? And obviously, once that check's not clearing, I'm gone. So then it's like, you then start your development over again in a sense, because now you're learning a new habit. So then you're trying to break the habit that you started with, and then you're trying to break it again in year 2, and then in year 3, and then in year 4. And then it's like, what did you learn? Like, you're still like, keep stopping and starting, and I'm still in the same spot.
Yeah. No, I think it's been a major impact, and especially the kids that get paid out of high school before they've even taken a snap in college. They're getting paid. They're getting, thousands, hundreds of thousands. Like look at last year, like with the Bryce Underwood situation. Like this guy's getting paid that much. Like I think he's getting like $4 million a year before he even took it. And he's had good moments this year, but like he's definitely not the best freshman quarterback in the country. He's like
Malik Washington had the best numbers until they fell off a cliff. Like his percentages and his average, like he was the best quarterback,
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, like if I think Bryce Underwood's going to be a good player, but say we're like year 3 and it's kind of just looking a little bit better than it is now. It's like, okay, well, was that worth a $12 million investment? And it's like, I know you got money up there at Michigan, but it's like, it shouldn't be about that from high school. I get if these kids are proven commodities in the portal, they get paid, they can get paid. But like these kids coming out of high school getting paid right off the bat, it's like, okay, well, like you kind of just took in that like hard work. Like, yes, there's going to be guys like Jeremiah Smith where you can give him millions of dollars. He's going to work his ass off. Doesn't matter. And those guys are always going to be out there. But now you're kind of cutting those guys out a little bit because, okay, well, before I even walk on campus, I'm getting paid, even if it's just a couple $100,000. It's like I'm getting paid a lot more money than any of these kids are even going to know for a while. So it's like, I think it is playing a factor here. And then, the transfer portal. It's like these kids don't want to get developed at a school, so they'll just jump in the transfer portal. And you got guys that have bounced around, and all of a sudden you see them pop up. I was like, oh, yeah, that guy, like, this is like his 4th team. It's like, okay, well, that's why. And he doesn't look any better. It's like, yeah, because he's played in 4 different systems. He's played under 4 different coaches, and he hasn't developed at all. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think they're trying to work on like the structure of both. We'll see how that goes, but if they can find a decent structure for I think that'll really help. But I think it's a lot of that. And then it's just part of the quick mentality that we have now is like, okay, like your coach has to be good by year 2. Like you got to be competing by year 2, even though I picked up a team that was 4-8. Right. But they're a big brand. I need them in the playoff conversation by year 2. I was like, no, it's not the case. So like you're firing coaches quickly. Kids are moving around. It's just, I think it's kind of all combined. And that's why development, especially at the quarterback position, is not good right now.
Do you think we need to have a structured salary cap similar to like NBA where it's like, okay, like incoming freshmen, here's what you're going to make. A freshman scale which you start producing. Right. Well, I guess you wouldn't care about freshmen. So sophomore, it's like if you produce, like say, like you get elevators if you become All-American, All-Conference, conference championship. There's an elevator for that sophomore class, right?
Right.
And then portal. And then it's like each year you get elevators. So you still get kids to have to work and grind, right? So like even if I hit the portal, I don't know. The portal thing will be interesting. Is like if someone who is in the portal that move over to a new team and like they won't get that elevator unless they get lumped into that. If that elevator of that team is like, hey, I transferred in as a sophomore and all the sophomores that year won like, the conference championship. Or maybe we don't give them elevate like that more money because of the fact that it can kind of also steer off people from transferring because you're not going to make as much money as you could if you stayed with that team. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that would be effective or do you think it's just wishful thinking?
Well, it probably is wishful thinking, but I think it would be effective. Like a salary cap, like you said, like how like the NFL and other places they have like rookie wage scales, things like that.
Right.
You can have that for young underclassmen, for like sophomores and freshmen, like a scale. But yeah, I think there should be salary caps. And it's like, I think they're trying to do that with like the whole revenue sharing thing. Like you get paid based off how much your program makes. But then it's like, okay, if you do that, then these guys at the top that always have made the most money, they're going to have the most money and they're going to get the most players.
I think it's going to stay the same. Yeah.
It'll stay the same. So it's like, at least now it's like, yes, we haven't seen a lot of development, but there's a lot more parity. Like other than maybe Ohio State. And I think Ohio State really hasn't played a tough team outside of maybe Texas in week 1. Like there's no dominant like team out there. And I don't even put Ohio State as dominant because I haven't seen them play anybody in weeks. I think if they play Texas A&M today, I may even take it Texas A&M. But like, there's no team out there. There's no like a Saban Bama or the 2 Kirby Smart Georgia years. They're like, okay, yeah, like I don't think anybody's going to beat them, or even a couple of Dabo Clemson teams. There's no teams like that. So at least it's kind of helped like thin out and like it's given more parity. But you're also just seeing not as good a quality of like football on Saturday.
I think the parity is like it's a parity for the top percent. But the parity for the bottom percent to everyone to come up still feels like it's a still big gap. Yeah. And that's what, that's why I feel like the football games have just been like, what are we doing? Like, what is this?
There's been some rough watches and it's like, okay, it's a good game, a good score, but it's like, geez, have you seen them play?
Right.
Like yesterday with, gosh, like watching the BYU Texas Tech game, it's like BYU's 8-0. It's like, how the hell are they 8-0? Like,
right.
They looked, and I understand Texas Tech is really good. And I think they had that one loss at Arizona State where they just played like crap and their backup quarterback was in, but they're a step above everybody else in the Big 12. But it's like, holy crap. Like this BYU team could have hosted a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's what we were getting to. And it's like, yeah, no, they're not on that level. Like they could have hosted, like say they host freaking like Georgia, who finishes 3rd in the SEC, or they host Oregon, who finishes 3rd in the Big 10. Like they're about to get boat race for sure.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah. So you've got more parity, but it's like, does that mean it's going to be better quality football? Probably not.
Is parity even good for college football? That's a good topic to have.
That is a good topic because it's like forever there was no parity. There was like the haves and the have-nots, but it's also like, but when those haves played, it was awesome.
It was some good football, and that's the thing too.
Yeah.
They're also discouraging these teams to schedule good teams. Yeah. Because of like we want to get to the playoffs. That's where you get the money. The money's in the playoffs. So, well, I will do whatever I have to do to get to that playoff to make sure that I am not, I'm good, right? So then it's like, but if you allow a team that has 3 losses, but 3 quality losses into the playoff, that will start to shift the mindset. Then you have a team that loses 3 quality teams and then just loses out in the playoff, then it's like, okay, then why the hell should I play good teams, right? And that's what the whole SEC thing is coming into play. And that's what the whole, Big Ten stuff is coming into play. So it's just like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right. But it's like, it sucks because it's like you want to see Texas, Ohio State on week 1. But if you're Texas, you're like, I could have scheduled, Louisiana Lafayette week 1. Beat them, like 48-0 or whatever. And now I got 1 loss on the season and I'm chilling. I can lose 1 more game and I'm probably in the playoff. It's like, you don't want to have teams that have that mindset, but I wouldn't blame them if they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of blaming teams, let's blame all the ACC teams because this is actually impoverished. And let's just go ahead and disband the conference altogether. One, because the TV deals stink. Two, because the football teams stink. If you guys let us know if you also feel that the ACC stinks, drop it down in the comment section. We'll respond to you. Because, I'm trying to get this spray out. I'm spraying the Febreze. Shout out to Jonathan Taylor scoring again today for my fantasy team. What a dog.
Yeah, I can use that as well. He just scored again right now?
Yeah, game over. They were overtime. He just scored. They just scored again. They literally play like I play in college football at 26. Hand the ball off, hand the ball off, hand the ball off. And if it don't work, hand the ball off some more.
Hand it on some more, yeah, because he's that good.
And Daniel Jones was kind of legendary because he had a bloody mouth after getting popped, and he's still playing, throwing it. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
He's the MVP of the league right now, hands down.
He had a rough week last week in Pittsburgh, but other than that, he's played really well. I mean, why wouldn't you give it to Taylor? I know it's a quarterback award now, but shit, Taylor.
I think he's just been I think he's so far above better than everyone else in terms of running backs. And, don't get me wrong, the quarterback play is good. Baker's still solid. Daniel Jones is okay. But I just think it's the eye test. It's the eye test. I think today he's up to 16 touchdowns on the season.
Oh yeah. And he's got rushing and receiving. He does it all.
But yeah, I lost the ACC stinks. Is what I'm trying to say.
Right?
It's so bad. I got distracted by actual good football, but I'm not getting distracted by the good football that's being played in the ACC. Right? Clemson stinks. SMU stinks. Virginia stinks. Miami stinks. Florida State stinks. North Carolina State stinks. Wake is okay. Wake stinks, right? They're all just bad at playing football, and they're cannibalizing. Stinky people are killing stinky people in the ACC. And don't get me wrong, I like some talent at Wake Forest. I thought they would be better than they were. They used to be kind of that fun team that was a tweener team. Right? That was they play tough. They'll get to 10 wins, but 10 wins with a bowl game or something like that. But they'll play Clemson down to the bowl, to the wire. Maybe they'll sneak Clemson once every 40 years at home.
Right.
And then, Syracuse was looking to be good. They fell off of a cliff and we haven't been seen for
quarterback went out, yeah.
Right. Syracuse is on the milk carton right now. It's terrible. And then it's that's just going to hamper them in terms of recruiting wise. Who wants to go play for the ACC? Right? Obviously it's a free open spot to get a chance, but it's one little small thing happens and this team is in the shooter. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, these last 2 weeks, last week you had Miami and Georgia Tech lose, and then yesterday you had Louisville and Virginia lose, and it's just you just look at their standings here. Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, SMU, Duke, Louisville. Miami's all the way down to 7th because they've lost both their games are in conference and they lost to Louisville. But it's okay, one of these teams is going to be in the playoff, which is kind of disgusting because all these teams have been disgusting throughout the year. I like Georgia Tech, but they have to have Haynes King play like Superman every week for them to have a chance to win. And then Virginia, I kind of saw that yesterday. I actually took I had Wake Forest plus 6.5. I thought that was one of the easier bets of the weekend because Virginia was one of those teams that they just kept playing around, and then finally I was okay, they're going to eventually lose. You can't keep winning these games by 1 and 2 points, and finally they lose. But wow, yeah, this conference, man, you're already not there's a power 2, and then there's the next 2, you and the Big 12. You could probably make the argument the Big 12's a little bit better, although they didn't have a good day yesterday either. But it's just I feel this conference is pretty much the definition of mid, just mid teams all over the place. But one of these teams is going to make the playoff. One of these teams is probably going to they're probably going to be a 1-bid league. I can't see 2 teams getting in, especially their 2 top-ranked teams lost yesterday. But they're probably going to have to go on the road against some SEC or Big Ten team that didn't get by that's going to be all upset, and they're probably going to get hammered. They're probably just going to get – I could see Georgia Tech having to go on the road to Oregon and just get shellacked out there. It's a real bad time to be an ACC fan, and every offseason there's rumors that one of your top teams is going to get plucked to go to the SEC or the Big Ten. I don't know how much of a future this conference has, especially if the big boys that are supposed to be at the top but aren't leave. And I don't know. you look at this conference, they're a good, decent basketball conference. They're not as good as they used to be. But who in this conference scares you? Like, we thought it was Miami, but
you know what's
Miami's
crazy? The scariest team now is North Carolina. They're on a winning streak.
They're on a winning streak. Yeah, all of a sudden, Belichick's figured it out. They got 2 wins in a row. Yeah, no kidding.
And then could still – North Carolina could actually make a bowl game. Shit, if they win out, they might end up winning the ACC because you know what? Fuck it. We stink. We stink, but we need some publicity. Let's let them win out so they can be in our ACC championship game so we could be talking about it.
Right.
They played the ACC championship in Charlotte. I can go watch that game. But why would I want to go watch trash play trash?
Seriously. Well, then, like last year, it was SMU Clemson. Clemson was a 3-loss team, and they won, or like a 2-loss team. And then SMU got in and just got hammered by Penn State. Is that going to be just how it is every year with the ACC? Oh, okay. Your conference champion gets in, and they just get hammered by whoever they have to play on the road. I feel bad because this conference used to be a good conference when Florida State was going, when Miami was going. Of course, the years that Dabo had his stuff going. Like, they used to be a good conference. Now it's just like, damn, like, are they that much better than the American Conference right now with USF and Memphis and Tulane and North Texas? Is the ACC that much better than the American Conference right now?
Not really. That's a real ACC, to be honest.
Right?
And it might turn into the ACC if we're being really honest.
It could. It's like, it bothers me because it's like this used to be a legit conference. Like, used to have good teams, and it's like they've kind of all fallen down. And I think there's potential. It's been a while.
It's been like a decade at least, because like the fall of the ACC really happened when Florida State stopped becoming a powerhouse.
Because Clemson was good, but they would just run through the ACC every year. It was just like, okay, well, Clemson's probably going to go undefeated in the conference. We'll see how they do in the playoff. So but I think there's potential there. Like, I like Brent Key in Georgia Tech. I like Tony Elliott in Virginia. I actually like what Pitt's doing, but could any of these teams actually rise up and compete? Like, Pitt's got Notre Dame at home next week. That would be huge for the ACC if you can get that win. I just don't see it.
Let me ask you this question. Is Georgia Tech a better job than Auburn?
Oh, gosh.
Because Brent Key would be actually, I didn't think about this. Brent Key would be the perfect culture reset for Auburn football.
Yeah, he would be a home run hire for Auburn. I think Auburn's I think they're a better job than Georgia Tech just because of the conference. And it's like we've seen Auburn get up there and play at the top every now and then. Like, was the last time we saw Georgia Tech?
Yeah, I mean, this is like the first time. I mean, Georgia Tech's still number 1 in the ACC. So it's like, I mean, but any, misstep is a slippery slope from. But so like I think in terms of like maybe more resources, but I think Georgia Tech could actually fundraise a good bit of money. I think Georgia Tech, if they really put in a effort to fundraise money, there's money at Georgia Tech. There's money for sure. Georgia Tech, right? Yeah. But I kind of think Georgia Tech is actually a better job than Auburn because of the fact that the ACC is so bad. So it's like, would you rather go to somewhere compete to be second or third, or you could turn the tides where you could legitimately be number 1? But at the same time, like, the ACC is like going how the wind goes. I mean, because I think in theory, UNC should be better next year. Syracuse recruits well. Florida State recruits well. If CJ Bailey stays at NC State, I'm hoping they can surround him with talent. Maybe not. Clemson is Clemson. Duke, with Mendes, he recruits well. SMU has good money. Pitt is
SMU does have good money.
Virginia is coaching well with what they got. And Georgia Tech has built a foundation. These are good teams. There's money, there's resources there, but it's not showing up on the football field. I mean, look, SMU 7 wins, Pitt 7 wins, Virginia 8 wins, and Georgia Tech 8 wins. It's cool to win these games, right? But it's like, in terms of getting into the playoff, that's what matters. It's that college football playoff equity that you need to have in your conference, and they just don't have it.
No, they don't. And it's like, it's more than just getting it, like being competitive. Like, Clemson was sort of competitive against Texas last year, but SMU got embarrassed. And so it's like, are you just want to be that program every year? It's like, okay, we're just a program, or just a conference that we'll get a team in the playoff, but a Big Ten or SEC power will just hammer us.
Right. Just give us our
Yeah,
check.
just give us our check, and that's all we need. And yeah, I mean, if you're looking for just winning and the best path to the playoff, Georgia Tech's a better job because you can get to the playoff more easily than you can at Auburn. But I just don't. I think if you're looking to get to an elite level, it's probably easier at Auburn. I don't know if you can get that way at Georgia Tech, but I mean, like you said, they got money. I like Brent Key a lot. Haynes King, this will be his last year, I think, because I think he's like a fifth-year senior.
The dog, though. He was a dog.
He is a dog. I love that guy. But if they can get a quarterback in there, if they can get a decent offense, I think they could be the ACC top dog for a while. Because I keep thinking it's going to be Miami, and I'm just giving up on that. I don't believe Mario Cristobal can do it. So at least not on Saturdays.
I think what the thing is this is where Brent Key is his real test is that transition of errors, right? Of recruiting classes, right? Like obviously he got that. This is his first recruiting class that's he built the foundation with. He's shown what it looks like. They've seen the bad, now they're seeing the good, right? So now it's can we have what? This is how a lot of coaches fail because you get that generation that's coming here to lay the foundation, but you don't find the right people to build off of your foundation with that carries that torch, that still has that hard-nosed grit to keep going to build this house, this structure, right? And that's where a lot of teams fail at doing when they get to year 4, year 5, year 6 of a program. One, they don't get there, right? But two, it's it's hard to keep building and continue to build something that can last. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Right. No, I mean, I think there's potential there, but yeah, it's been a rough season for the ACC. I thought they could be like a 2-bid league going into the year because Clemson and Miami, but obviously Clemson's fallen way hard off.
And that's fired. That man just wants.
Dabo's asking to be fired. Like he's literally politicking to be fired, and
it's like.
And
refs stink too. I don't just think he's like, well, the ref also stinks. Like, yeah, we hate the refs too.
Right. He's just, yeah. Well, and then it's does Florida State finally pull the trigger? Because it's what is your reasoning to keeping Mike Norvell at this point? He can barely win conference games. He's won 2 conference games in the last 2 years. It's
yeah, he's 1-5 this year, and he's 4-5 overall.
Yeah, they may. And last year they were 2-10. How he kept his job last year after he has that 1 year where they went 13-0 and they got left out of the playoff. And then that's the only year. And then the year before wasn't bad either. But
I mean, who knows if forgive me, I can't think of the quarterback who broke his leg.
Jordan Travis.
Yeah, if Jordan Travis never broke his leg, who knows, right? But obviously they got boat raced by Georgia in the Orange Bowl, right?
Right.
And yeah, I think Florida State just needs a fresh start. But then it's the question then becomes is this too many openings? So is the demand and the supply, are they going to meet up, right?
Yeah. Well, that's especially if Kiffin just is hey, screw it, I'm going to stay at Ole Miss. It's yeah, you could be right. There's not a lot of top level guys that are available for these schools to hire. So it's okay, who are you hiring? Especially at Penn State. Say you end up hiring they're good thing they're not going with Matt Rule. I thought that would be a giant downgrade, but who do they get? They could end up get Hartline, but Hartline's never been a head coach. This is his first year as a coordinator. And it's another thing. Yeah, we know he can recruit, but can he coach on Saturdays? So it's you can go from being a top 3-4 team in the conference, and all of a sudden you're barely trying to make a bowl game. So it's I don't know. It'll be interesting because I don't think we're done seeing firings yet. I think Norvell does get fired at Florida State. Fickle actually won yesterday. They upset Washington, so maybe he gets to stick around a little bit longer at Wisconsin. But
I thought I saw something that they said that he was going to be back next year.
Yeah, I think so, but I've heard that from other teams in the past, and all of a sudden you lose a game at home to someone you're not supposed to, and you get embarrassed, and things change. So, but yeah, and there's a lot of jobs out there, but there's not a lot of candidates that are that are looking for jobs either. So it'll be interesting to see who these coaches, who these programs like, because you have 3 jobs and 3.5 maybe with Auburn that are good top level jobs. But is there enough top level candidates to fill those jobs that are interested?
I just love how Florida State really fooled everybody. Like, they had a 3-week run this year where they beat Alabama. They put 77 up on East Texas A&M. Never heard of them ever in my life. Then they beat Kent State 66-10. And then once they lost that overtime game to Virginia, they lost to Miami, they lost to Pittsburgh, they lost to Stanford, who fired their coach. And then it's just like, what the hell is going on here, right?
Yeah. I mean, that Alabama win, that might be like the weirdest win of the season. You just look back, you're like,
I was going to say,
week
0
Alabama?
is unpredictable.
Yeah, it is. And so, yeah, because I think obviously they played the day Bama would probably be favored by like 20 points and probably win by 20 to 25 at least.
Easily.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the Big 12 a little bit. And obviously, let's talk about what always is going to get the headlines about the Big 12. Obviously, the Big 12 stinks as well, but it's like,
they do.
You know, Texas Tech and they're pretty much paying money. I would love to see Texas Tech in the SEC, which it probably will happen. Or I think they might be better off going to the Big 10.
That might be a better fit, but yeah, they got it's the best team money can buy, supposedly, is what people are saying. But yeah, but
I'm like just looking at this terrible conference. It's so top heavy for sure.
So, but it's like how good are
the Sonny Dykes stay another year?
Yeah, what TCU
does? Like, could someone be interested enough? Who's at Arizona now? The head coach. It's he was a San Diego State or
he was a San Jose coach. Yeah, San Jose State coach.
Is someone desperate enough to bring him over? Obviously, we talked about Houston head coach,
right?
Kenny Dillingham. I mean, 6-3, obviously losing the guy for the year. I mean, he still could have enough of some hype train again in terms of like not enough jobs to supply. Like, could you really get yourself, bought in?
I could see him being because of what he did last year, but he's still, what is this, his 3rd year coaching? So he's still a young coach. He was an offensive coordinator for, I think, Oregon for Landing for a year. So he doesn't have a lot of experience. Abuka right away. Touchdown on the Patriots. Awesome. That was quick.
Touchdown.
But
London and John.
Like you said, top heavy conference. There's 3 teams at the top, but with like, I think Texas Tech is clearly the best team in the conference. I don't think anybody's like disputing that, but it's like, how good are Utah and BYU? Like, how good are they? Like, Utah somehow was 10-2 and they're ranked 13. It's like, who have they actually beaten?
Utah's
and the 2
like
teams,
Iowa to me. They're a tough team. Like, things get weird when you go into their vortex
100%.
because they're so sound defense, right? And then
sound defense, they play
off.
physical, But it's like who'd they beaten? Their 2 best teams they played was BYU and Texas Tech, and they got beat by both. So it's like, and Texas Tech went into their place and hammered them. So I don't know. I thought this could be a too big. That was kind of my case last week. I was like, hey, well, I think this could be a too big conference, but I was hoping BYU kept it a little closer. If they can keep it closer, then maybe. But it's like they end up meeting again in the Big 12 chat and lose again. Like, BYU's not getting a 10-2.
But it also could be good for them. I think we also talked about last time where it's like, I think the best case scenario, if both teams were to get into the playoff, is that they both need to win against each other. So Texas Tech needs to win first, and then BYU needs to win the conference championship. So I think Texas Tech probably has enough on their own merit to, let's see.
Yeah. If they lost in the conference champion, I guess it'd be how it looked. Like this Texas Tech beating BYU, hammering BYU and Utah. Is that enough?
I mean, they beat a Utah when they were ranked.
They
beat the BYU, who was a top 10 ranked. So that would be your 2 toughest wins this year.
And they beat them good too. They beat them real. Like yesterday, it was only, I think it was like they ended up being 29-10, but Texas Tech had like 4 drives that stopped.
Wait, does Big 12 still have an outright? Does Big 12 have an outright champion, or do they have a game? I don't think they have a game, right?
They have a game. Yeah, they have a game. They play at I think they end up playing at freaking Jerry World in Dallas.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Scott Satterfield from Cincinnati. I think he'll be a guy who'll get a lot of buzz. I'm 7-2 right now, 5-1 in conference. Like they have an opportunity. Try to see who they play the rest of the year. They play.
They've been better.
They play BYU this week, or no?
Yeah,
they play on the 22nd. 22nd.
Yeah,
they play Arizona, then BYU.
So they're still alive, but they got hammered by Utah 2 weeks ago. So Utah might be on the up and up like right now, but it's just like they have two losses where they lost pretty bad. So I don't know. I feel like if it's not Texas Tech, I don't know if any of those teams could really compete in the playoff. I think Texas Tech can. The defensive line is ridiculous. Like they have some studs along the defensive line that are really good, but their offense is okay. I think they're the only team that could compete with like the SEC and Big Ten though, from the Big 12.
Is the Big 12?
Yeah, I'm saying Texas Tech is the only team from the Big 12 that could compete with the SEC and the Big 10, I think. Because I think BYU or Utah would probably, they just don't have the athletes. They might, play physical and hard, but they just don't, you can't match up with the athletes that the other schools have. So, but yeah, another rough day. ACC had a rough day. I think Big 12 had a rough day. I think if BYU keeps that close, you don't mind them losing on the road at Texas Tech, but that game was over like second quarter. It was
right. It's just like how it looks, and that's what the committee is going to look at.
Oh, 100%.
You don't want to give the committee any reason to question, right? So, yeah. I mean, Arizona and Cincinnati is going to be a big game this weekend. I'm really excited for that one. 6-3 Arizona versus 7-2 Cincinnati. And then, I mean, West Virginia might have found their form, and Arizona State is very vulnerable. So, like, that's a dangerous team you want to watch out for that's trying to make a bowl game under Rich Rod. Texas Tech plays CF.
You know who's hard to find on those standings is Colorado. I thought he wasn't hard to find. It's kind of hard to find. You have to scroll a couple of times to see him.
Dude, yeah. I've officially, I'm across country off of that Deion Sanders train. And it's mainly because of his inability to be a good coach. And, I don't care about any of his antics. He understands how to, he showed and he persuaded people that he understood the world of college football, but he doesn't understand the world of football in general. Right. And when he doubled down on his poor clock management early on the loss, and he just what should I have taken the timeout? Bro, I could have gave you many reasons when you could have took a timeout. Why would you have your quarterback in the middle of the field instead of after he got the first down, run all the way out of bounds instead of getting down? You could call a timeout there in the middle of the field, you know what I mean? Or you could clock it once because the clock stops when you get a first down in college football.
Right. You just get a first down. Yeah.
So that's when it's bro, you double down on that. You've doubled down on keeping Pat Shermer, your offensive coordinator, who's not been good since he's been there. He let Sean Lewis leave. Who, guess what? Sean Lewis is not a head coach at San Diego State. Right. You think that's a mistake? You know what I mean? A guy who's you demote him as offensive coordinator, but yet he still gets a head coaching job. You know what I mean? And they're winning this year.
And they're winning. I think they lost last night, but they were still 7-2 or something like that. So they're a good team.
So it's okay. So it's just it's cool. You brought in Warren Sapp and you brought in Marshall Faulk. Can they coach?
Can they coach? Yes, exactly. And that was my biggest thing too. Is you're bringing in all these guys. They've never coached. They've never. I mean, they're great players, but we've seen in other sports and in the NFL and in football, if you're a great player, it doesn't mean you're a great coach. We've seen that so many times. And
it'd be cool to talk to him. What did you do? Right? Cool. But there's people they teaches the X and O's. They understand. I know how to do it. Yeah, he did it this way, but this is the fundamental right way to do it. But then it's let me get you. I need to get you to B, but let me put this little midpoint here that helps you get to it. Let me put that bridge to make sure that you get there. Versus just this is how I do it. This is how you're supposed to do it. But then you got to be able to explain it. Why are you doing it like that? I'm not saying they're not doing it. I'm not going to disrespect them to that extent. But obviously it's not working, right?
It's not working.
Pat Shermer's play calling, he just finally got demoted last week. from play calling abilities. Why did it take you this long? Why did Saunders digress so bad? He looked like decent quarterback with Liberty, right? And then why is he? I think Juju looked really good yesterday, threw almost just under 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough. How much was that garbage time? What are y'all doing? That still can't stop the run. So it's like you get all these big names. I'm gonna bring all this dude. I'm gonna bring somebody. You try to name drop. I'm bringing somebody from Alabama when I come over here. I'm bringing somebody from that. Right? That's cool. No disrespect. We seen USC do the same thing. They bring in big name people, but what happened? The defense is still atrocious.
Where's the substance? Yeah, I know. I agree. And with them, it's like maybe it was more like definitely like how much Shadur and Travis Hunter did for that team last year. But it's like 2 out of 3 years, you're not making a bowl game, and it's like you're not even really competitive. Like you had that little run when you guys first started. You beat a bad TCU team that was coming off getting hammered by Georgia in the national championship. And it's like, and then you went into Pac-12 play and you won 1 game, and you're probably going to win 2 games this year in Big 12. You're 3-7, so you're not making a bowl. I don't know. And then he's got all these health issues with like the foot stuff and all that other stuff. So that was a terrible throw by Drake May, but way overthrew. But I don't know. I just don't think it's working. It was cool. It was cool for a minute, and then it got overblown for a minute, and now it's just laughable. Now it's not even like talked about. Like they played yesterday. I don't even think it was on. I think it was on like, I don't know, whatever the equivalent of Big 12 network is, or it's on like FS1. Like no one cared. And it's like
no one
knew. No one, because it's like, what's they going to talk? They've won 3 games. One of their wins, I think, was against, I don't know, Colorado, like a smaller school. And then they upset Iowa State. So it's like, I don't know. I just
look like
they don't look. Yeah.
He's like a manager. Like, I try to put this to football terms in terms of soccer.
Right.
He's a manager that relies on having good talent that gives him creative freedom.
Right.
But the issue is his talent is not good enough to allow that freedom. His team needs, like, he's supposed to be this old school disciplinarian type coach, but he doesn't have a system. He relies on his coordinators to do their job. He is the worst version of what's the head coach for the Eagles? I always like to talk shit about him.
Sirianni.
Sirianni. He's the worst version of Sirianni, because what does Sirianni do? He don't do shit. He's a CEO, right?
Right.
But as a CEO, he's failing to be able to have the right people manage his team. Right. But it matters because he has to recruit really strongly in order for him to be able to get enough players to be good, right? So, like, yeah, obviously your son was really good at playing quarterback, and that helped. And because of that, people were wanting to come to him. He has good receivers. Like, Omarion is really good. Like, he has good talent. But again, it's like, but what system are we running to utilize this talent? Pat Sherman, yeah, he called plays in the NFL. That's a cool recruiting point. But realize if you actually look at the numbers in the NFL, it
wasn't any good. It wasn't any good. Yeah. Well, and then like Deion's his recruiting isn't that good either. Like he'll get a guy here and there, but like their recruiting classes are like outside the top 50. They hit the transfer portal really hard, but it's like we've seen. You can't just rely on the transfer portal. Who has done that successfully, like consistently? Nobody. Like the top schools, they'll kind of fill in like, okay, I need a couple receivers, like Texas A&M. They needed receivers. Boom, they get 2 receivers out of the portal. Now, boom, they're off and running. So it's like that's what the schools do. But it's like he can't do good enough in high school recruiting. You're not going to get portal guys.
Plus, he's getting turn your team around. Turnover too. He's having too much turnover.
Way too much
on the field and in his locker room. Like people are talking about hyping up over like, oh yeah, like he did this like a transfer portal scrimmage. And it was playing hard. Why can't you do that shit on the field? You know what I'm saying? It's like he's like already telling you, some of y'all not gonna be here next year. Maybe you might not be here. Maybe you need to be in this scrimmage coaching up. Like, it's like it's some things that's like, yeah, some coaches won't do that. Well, some key coaches actually want you to stay here. He's like pushing players out. You brought him here.
Right.
And so, like, obviously, your methods aren't working. Like, how you talking about how I look for an offensive lineman or what I look for in the defensive lineman. Obviously, obviously it's not working because you
Right.
shouldn't be building your foundation on transfer portal kids. You should be building the foundation on your high school recruiting and supplementing with the portal, right? Like you want to be able to build these linemen. Obviously, they might not be ready to play right now, but you build them in the weight room and you keep growing them and you plant that seed. Like, don't get me wrong, Seaton was a great left tackle and he'd probably be a first round pick, but he should not be at Colorado for another year.
Right.
He should not be there. He should go to Alabama. He should go to Georgia, to be honest. Let's come to Georgia. Come to Georgia.
Yeah.
All right. He's like, he's strong. I mean, he might have got
he was off season. That's the best recruit they've gotten, like, by far.
Easily.
Like, it's not even close. Yeah.
Easily.
Especially out of high school. Like, they've done decent in the portal with getting some random guys, but he's the best high school recruit. I think he's the only 5-star they've signed out of the high school. Yeah. And he's by far the best player. So but it's just like
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you're him, like, yeah, you're probably gonna get seen enough because like scouts are everywhere, so you'll get drafted. But it's like if you were playing in the SEC or the Big Ten for like you'd probably be a top 10 pick. People be talking about you like, hey, like you're up there, like we see you all the time, like you're playing. But like you go to Colorado, I'm like, okay, well, you believe in Deion's message. It's like it's just not there. It's not working.
He's literally a island of a left tackle. He's like a corner,
right? Where
it looks like literally he will lock down that edge rusher, but that is a break, and then the rest of the offensive line is garbage. And it's like I would love Deion too, and if he makes you feel valued and he makes sure you're taken care of, cool. But at the end of the day, you are better than the program. And if scouts are not coming around, you know, obviously he is the reason why they would come around. But if they're not coming around for anybody else,
then what are we doing?
Yeah. Right. And that's the reason why, like, I would rather be a middle tier player on a good team than a good player on a bad team. Because the scouts are going to come to see your Jeremiah Smiths, your Caleb Downs, but I'm out here working my ass off in practice. They're like, wait, who's that kid? Who's 45?
Who's that guy?
Right? And that's when you get that your value from undrafted to 6th round, undrafted to 5th round, right? You get up to that 7th round picks. Okay, he has drafted a grade, what I saw. Then all of a sudden you see your athletic ability test-wise, you go up 2 rounds to the 4th round. And then next thing you know, you're like, how did he get to the 4th round? Because he was a grinder. He tested himself against steel every day in practice against the top of the top. He didn't get a lot of playing time, but he was beneficial. He developed. Yeah. He developed in practice.
He developed, against the best of the best. He developed against the guys that are best players in the country, and he developed against them. And like you said, he was. And then, boom, someone's there to see, like you said, Caleb Downs. Like, okay, well, who's this D lineman that's just disruptive and getting tackles on every other run play? It's like, oh, this guy, he's pretty darn good. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're going through your shit and you're like, oh, well, all right, well, I got to look. Now I'm going to start watching film. Oh, this guy's been doing it all season. Yeah, boom. Like you said, now he's drafted 5th, 4th round. Now he's making money.
You know, Julian Sain was going against Caleb Downs in practice every day. In the scout team. And look what he's doing now at Ohio State. Balling out. Yeah. I love Julian Sain. All right. Let's talk about this college football playoff and we'll get this thing wrapped up because I don't want to miss this again. We get too animated here.
It's all good. That's what we're here for.
Because Saturdays are so sacred, and we appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you follow Sports Fluent, follow us, and to catch us every Sunday at 12 p.m. We'll talk college football. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think about these topics. Colorado, the Big 12, the ACC, stinky conferences. Nothing's better than the SEC. Nothing's better than the SEC.
Oh man.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So we got the college football playoff here. Let's see if I can do a better side by side. Let me do this. And hold on, bear with me.
No, you're good.
I don't know how to do this, actually. I should be. Oh, well. So as we see on the left-hand side, the college football rankings, as of last week, we're going to get new rankings. Does college football playoff rankings come out Tuesdays every week, or was it just Tuesdays that first week?
Every Tuesday for the first. Yeah, every Tuesday until they get the final one. The final one comes out on like their version of Selection Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so as we see here, Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Ole Miss 6, BYU 7, which that's definitely going to change.
That's going to change.
Texas Tech 8, Oregon 9, Notre Dame 10, Virginia 11, and Memphis that final spot. And the first teams out is Texas and Oklahoma. So within that top 5, were there any surprises there in terms of ranking, or do you think that's pretty on par?
That's pretty on par for me. I mean, like you can kind of split hairs with the top 3 teams. Those are clearly the top 3: Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Indiana. I know some people like Texas A&M over Indiana at 2, and I think that could happen this week with the way Indiana looked and the way Texas A&M looked. I can see those 2 flip-flopping, but outside of that, yeah, Bama 4, Georgia 5. That's kind of what I would have if I were ranking it. So that's pretty accurate to me.
Okay. So the next 5: Ole Miss, BYU, Texas Tech, Oregon, and Notre Dame. Obviously, with what just happened, Texas Tech will be moving up at least 1 spot. Do you think that this Texas Tech win was big enough for them to jump over Ole Miss, or maybe make it to the top 5?
Well, it depends. So it depends on how much they view. Well, I guess they viewed BYU as the 7th best team. So BYU will probably drop all the way out. I could see them at like 13-ish. It was at home. BYU was undefeated, so I could see them jumping. They'll obviously jump over 7 because BYU was there. I could see them getting to 6. I don't think they'll be over Georgia. Georgia looked pretty good yesterday, even though it was Mississippi State. Mississippi State's been better, so that's still a decent win. So I think Texas Tech will be 6 when the rankings come out. I think they'll jump Ole Miss because Ole Miss was off, and Ole Miss's best win is probably at Oklahoma, which is still a good win. But I think they would jump Ole Miss.
Okay. How far would you drop BYU out? Would you drop BYU all the way out of the top 12?
I would, yeah. I mean, I understand they were undefeated. Their best win was against the Utah home, but you looked awful yesterday. And it's like, I mean, obviously they could be 12 in the rankings. They just won't be in the playoff because that last has to go to like the group of 5 person. So, but I wouldn't have them above anybody below them. And then Virginia's going to drop out too. But I wouldn't have them above Oregon. I wouldn't have them above Notre Dame. And then there's like Texas, Oklahoma. I would have them above BYU as well. So yeah, I would have them probably ranked 12th, but not in the top 12 because they wouldn't be in because of the automatic bids.
Yeah, I'm still questioning Notre Dame. They did have a pretty good decisive victory over Navy yesterday. Navy's a solid team, but they're not going to really beat nobody unless it's a special year.
Right.
Ole Miss and Oregon and Texas Tech, where it gets a little weird for me.
Right.
I don't know which order I would put them in. I kind of agree with you. I think I would put Texas Tech over Ole Miss, but I kind of want to put Oregon over Ole Miss as well.
That one's a tough one because it's like that was probably Oregon's best win was yesterday at Iowa.
Right.
So how good of a win is that? So it's like at Iowa or at Oklahoma. And that's like it's tough. I probably still have Ole Miss ahead, but maybe they don't want to have like that log jam because you have 4, 5, and 6 is all SEC. So maybe they want to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, I could see having Oregon over Ole Miss.
So now Memphis, I think
Memphis lost Friday night, so they're out.
Yeah.
So
now G5? Because obviously, Virginia lost as well. So I'm putting Texas, which is crazy. I'm putting Texas in at 11, right? So
okay.
Or 10. They might actually go up to 10.
Yeah, they're at Georgia this week though, so that could be short-lived. They could be there and be out. So
right. So I'll probably put Texas at 10, Oklahoma. Hold on. I don't think Oklahoma should be because they just lost.
Well, the 11 has to be the ACC team, so I guess for now,
Georgia
like
Tech.
Georgia Tech. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
I know, right? It gets kind of gross there.
So yeah, so I'll go. Okay, so I'll go 10 Texas, 11 Georgia Tech, and then I probably would put the Group of 5 team. It's gotta be. I don't know. I don't know. Is it?
It's probably South Florida, I'm guessing.
No, because they lost to Memphis.
They lost to Memphis.
So it's probably. I don't even know who's the next Group of 5. Is it
Like Tulane, or I guess JMU could get in there.
Yes, JMU. It probably is JMU.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Gosh, I couldn't. Could you imagine JMU at Georgia? Whew.
Yeah, that'd be nasty.
That'd be gross.
I mean, San Diego State, maybe UNLV. They're both 7-2.
They could.
They're up there in the mix. UConn, which is kind of crazy to say. Kennesaw State.
Kennesaw State. Oh my goodness! Now we're getting too much in the weeds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at like decent win teams, like Western Kentucky 7-2. Definitely no team in the MAC. American, yeah. So probably Tulane, Memphis. Actually, Texas, North Texas. Actually, they're 8-1. They're off last week.
Yeah, North Texas is up there. It's a lot of those American conference teams. So I think whoever wins that conference is probably getting that bid, just because it's like the toughest. But maybe JMU sneaks in there because I think they only got one loss on the season, and that's like out of conference too. I think they lost to like Louisville or something. They're in the Sun Belt, yeah. Sun Belt's pretty weak though.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what their schedule is. They're ranked 25th, so they're definitely in the mix. They only lost one game. They play App State this week, so that's not a big test. Especially their biggest wins were again.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Louisville. Oh no, you lost to Louisville. That's what
lost to Louisville. Yeah.
Yeah, if they.
Yeah, so it's hard to find their big wins if they have any.
I mean, Georgia Southern, I guess. I don't know. Georgia Southern, Georgia State.
Where it's like at least USF beat Florida, and I think Memphis beat Arkansas. So like it's some decent wins there.
Yeah. It's going to be nasty.
It is. But
go ahead.
I'm gonna say there's like a lot could change even more, obviously, as the weeks, because now you got Georgia, Texas this week. What else is out?
I mean, San Diego State plays against Boise State this week. Boise is 6-3, and San Diego State is 7-2.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So I mean, they got boat race. If they didn't get boat raced by Hawaii 38-6 this week, then it probably, because they would be only a one-loss team, so that might have just killed their. They're still number one in the Mountain West, which is
in the Mountain West. Yeah, Hawaii's a tricky, it's just tricky play in there.
Oh shit, Hawaii is 7-3. They're
not bad either.
I didn't know they were good.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I know because their game started like what, midnight or 1 a.m. for you guys.
Yeah, insane. I mean, they're 7-3. They're only a half game back, so they could, if they win out. Hawaii, who they play this week? Hawaii are off this week. So I would love to see Hawaii in the playoffs.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. That'd suck for them to have to travel, but
yeah, it would have to
be cool.
It would have to play the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, it'd have to be like or West Coast team.
So they play UNLV and Wyoming the last two games. So UNLV is a good team. So if they beat UNLV on the 21st, that's a quality win. And then Wyoming, and then they might, because I think they're like one of the teams that they're in between them for winning from being in the Mountain West. Or a lot, they're actually over UNLV. They're 3-2. UNLV is 3-2 in the conference. So Boise
and they have
State
a championship game, I think, too. So that'd be good.
So yeah, they have to win out. in order to get a chance to be. And I think with that win over San Diego State, that should give him the tiebreaker to be in that Mountain West championship game, and then possibly get an opportunity to be in the college football playoff.
Right.
Which would be fun.
But yeah, these teams at the top, I mean, Texas A&M plays Texas. Indiana schedules whatever. Penn State was actually the toughest game on their schedule. And then Ohio State, can they finally beat Michigan? They got to go to Michigan. But other than that, it's like those teams at the top, it's probably those two teams will probably play each other in the Big Ten and SEC championship game. So probably not a lot of difference at the top for a while. But the rest of it could see some shuffling. Could see some things change.
It'd definitely be a nice little shuffle. But let me ask you this question. Let's shuffle it, talking about, do you think this win over Penn State was a benefit to Indiana, or does it show the cracks? They did it. I mean, it was a spectacular game-winning catch. Like, I still think that awesome. First foot looked like it went out of bounds a little bit.
It was close. It was close. Yeah.
But, Gus Johnson on the call was fantastic. Give him the Heisman.
Oh, he was going nuts. The whole drive, he was going nuts. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's what he's there for, to make that ending spectacular. And was this a vote of confidence win? That, okay, maybe Indiana, because Penn State still is a very talented team. No one really quit on that team.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So to finally get that first win in Happy Valley ever for Indiana. As Kirk Signetti says, Indiana's never won in the in Happy Valley before. So, this team's never played in Happy Valley. I love his quotes. His quotes are just
he's a great quote. Like, if you're working the Indiana beat, he's awesome. Like, that's an easy job right now because he's just an easy quote.
For sure. So are you confident in Indiana now after that big victory, or are you starting to doubt Indiana?
Well, it was good to see them win a close game because they haven't played any close games this year. So it was good to see Mendoza in a pressure spot answer with that final drive. I mean, I think he went like 6 for 6 on the final drive. He was great. And then, those 2 catches at the end, especially the last one, was just ridiculous. But you saw some cracks. Like, if you can, like, early on throughout the game, if you can get to Mendoza and rattle him a little bit, he didn't play well for most of the game until the last drive. Like, he had some bad throws. He had an interception. Their run game is still not great, so they have to rely on him to throw the ball a lot. So you saw some cracks. Now, Penn State denied Dennis Sutton. He'll probably be a first-round pick. Like, there's not many teams. Like, even though Penn State's had a bad year, their defensive line is going to be better than most teams that they'll play. But, Ohio State can get after it. So we'll see what that looks like in the Big Ten championship game. And so I thought that would be a pretty close game. If they played right now, I would think I would take Ohio State. It'd probably be about like 7.5 spread. I'd probably take them to cover.
I'll take 14.5, minus 14.5 Ohio State, to be honest.
Yeah. So it was good to see them win that way, but you saw the cracks there, and that there's going to be teams in the playoff that can expose those. Like, teams that can get after the quarterback. And it's going to be interesting because A&M can get after it. Bama can get after it. Of course, Ohio State can get after it. So it's like, I just don't know if this team is good enough to make a run in the playoff, like a decent run in the playoff. There we go. We sacked Baker.
Do you think they can get one win in the playoff?
I think they can. It depends. So if they get a bye, so the kind of crappy thing about a bye is you don't get a home game. You get to play in like the little like bowl setups. So you could play in like they would probably put them in like the Fiesta or in the Fiesta Bowl or Sugar Bowl or something.
I think they will wind up getting a home playoff game because of the fact that I think they're going to lose to Ohio State.
Yes, they wouldn't get a bye. So if they're the 5 seed and they play, if they're the 5 seed and they play like the group of 5 team as the 12, I think they win. But if you're like a 6 or a 7 and you end up having to play Oregon again, or you play Ole Miss, or you play Georgia, maybe you don't get a win. And so I think that could be interesting. I think it just depends on their draw. I still think they're a really good team, but we finally saw them crack a little bit yesterday. It was good to see them respond. But if there's other teams in the league that can get after you, like Penn State does, so it'll be interesting to see how good they can be.
Yeah, I am going to. I love Kirk Signetti, but I still think he needs another year of continually to develop, because I see the progression, right? I see the progression of him getting his guys in. I think they will win Oof, should I say this?
Say, what's the rest of their schedule look like? I was trying.
I think Indiana will win a national championship within 3 years.
Oof.
With his trajectory of how he's developing players, he's getting players in, he's turning the mantra of what coming to Indiana looks like, and I think he can develop. Right. He's one of the few guys I see developing talent because he doesn't go after the 5 stars. Like he has like the part of the Iowa mentality of Iowa always gets those 2 and 3 star guys and then develops them into being really good, solid football players. But he's winning, and it's also winning on the offensive side of the ball versus the defensive side of the ball. So I really see I can see that, trajectory happening with Curt Cignetti, and I think he's going to continue to do well. So I would give him a shot to win the national championship within 3 years. Who knows? Like they might maybe this win could have woke them up and said, "Look, guys, we can do it.
I agree.
Do it."
I think this win helps them a little bit, but like I think it helps their opponent. Now they get Purdue and Wisconsin to finish out, so they're gonna be undefeated, and they're gonna be in the Big Ten championship game. Their focus, obviously, you don't want to focus on it now, but your focus is Ohio State. Like, can you beat Ohio State? Oh shoot, Kyle Williams like a 70-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was like his 4th catch of the year.
I like
love to see that. I liked him out of Washington State. I like that pick. Maybe they start using their young guys, but yeah, just get back to Indiana. I think everybody, like we've said before, like if you took that logo off the side of the helmet and you replaced it with the Michigan helmet, I think everybody would be like falling over themselves trying to give them credit for that win. But I think they're a good team, but I think you saw those cracks, and I think if they don't get the right draw, they can be a one and done team in the playoff.
Yeah. I agree with that. So I'm still putting them on fraud alert. Like there's that fraud flag I'm putting up there right now. But again, even if they lose to Ohio State, it's the manner of how they lose will be my test going forward.
Yeah, because if they get boat raced by Ohio State, then it's like, okay, all the momentum's kind of gone.
Yeah, and that's the thing is too, like we're seeing where losing early is beneficial than losing late. Because you got weeks to really kind of, all right, let's shake that off, right? Like Arch is right now on a tear, right? We had his headstone engraved, like we were
weeks ago.
And now he's like, no, like he's doing good. Obviously, he's playing really good against some weaker opponents, but then he started got that good, played really well against Vandy, even though check down Merchant. But like it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, like he's building in confidence, Sarkisian is trying to do what he can to get him going.
Right.
And whatever he has to do, he's gonna do it. And obviously let your playmakers work. Let them work. You know what I mean? We pay them a lot of money for a reason. Let them go to work. So yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, how about this? Let's do a little fun predicting game for next week.
Okay.
Here's two part. Give me a storyline of what we think we'll be talking about next week, and give me, will a coach be fired by when we get off again? I think what's going to happen is once we log off of this again, someone is going to get fired. So, do you think we will have a coach firing within the next 30 minutes? Or do you think any coach will be fired this coming week?
I think the only coach that could happen to is Norvell at Florida State. I think that's the only guy you could see getting fired. So I'm going to go no. I think they're going to let him finish out the season. I don't know. Like, just let him finish out the last 2 weeks and then decide what you want to do. So I don't think anybody's going to get fired, but I mean, it could happen. I was kind of waiting for Hugh Freeze to get fired. I wished it would happen either during or before the show, but that one wasn't a shock. I mean, Norvell wouldn't be a shock, but I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger right now. There's some good games next weekend, though.
There is some really good games next weekend.
Yeah, you got Notre Dame at Pitt.
I'm going to say this.
Georgia and Texas. Yeah.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say this. The storyline will be The redemption of Arch Manning.
Oh, they're pulling the upset, huh? They're going into the hedges,
I don't
huh?
feel good.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it. But I think the one of the storylines we talk about is, did we write off Arch Manning too soon and he gets his signature victory in college football? That's what I'm like. That's what I'm thinking. It's either going to be that or because the thing is, even if Georgia wins, no one's going to talk about Georgia being back in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on how they win. If we haven't dominated any teams, so I mean, Mississippi State did have some, and we played well because we put the backups in by the end of the game. But like, I'm not. That's not like, oh yeah, like you dominate a team that you necessarily shouldn't
dominate.
Right. So if we dominate Texas, which I definitely don't think we are good enough to dominate any top tier.
Maybe not dominate, yeah.
We're a team right now that are tough. We're a resilient team that has to play the game right. Right. Like we have to play the game right. And we're tough enough to last 12 rounds. And we're going to drag teams out to deep waters and be able to play out there. So I think that's what I think the makeup of this Georgia team is. And I like that about them. I'm still not sold on Gunners like have to win it for us with this arm. Right. And obviously his legs is dynamic. I love that we have that factor with him, but I'm just not sold on all of it. But we'll see. And I'm definitely not sold on our secondary right now, which is like normally one of our highest points. Like
one of your strengths, yeah.
Bolden, I love KJ Bolden. I love Ellis Robinson. Like we have young guys who are stepping up and they're getting better each week. But again, like when it's time to play, like when we get that, if we get that Alabama rematch, will we still look the same? How much different will it look, right? Against a team that's a higher powered passing attack. And that's what possibly Texas could be. But I'm not too afraid of Texas taking the top off. They do have that do it, but I also am not concerned.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't be concerned about that either.
Right. So that's
what yeah, I would say I got a storyline for you.
Okay. Buckle up.
Pitt eliminates Notre Dame from the playoff.
Ooh.
Notre Dame's at Pitt. They're both 7-2. Pitt's been playing better now that the freshman quarterbacks come in. Notre Dame's not making the playoff at 9-3. They lose the third game. They're out. It's at Pitt. It's an early start. Notre Dame, I mean, Navy's like, they always hammer Navy because, like, if you could just slow down the run game for Navy, they have nothing else, obviously, because that's all they do. So, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit of an upset here. I would love to see Notre Dame get eliminated too because we don't need to see them in the playoff again. So I think, Notre Dame's eliminated by Pitt, and Pitt's the ACC team that we're all kind of, I don't know about them taking over the ACC, but I think they could eliminate Notre Dame.
Take me back to the Kenny Pickett fake slide days.
Oh, jeez.
That's what we're doing. I like that. I like that because I love Marcus Freeman. I want him to succeed. Maybe not.
I like Freeman too. Yeah.
But
yeah, not in Notre Dame either.
But yeah, like they're just so susceptible to these type of losses where they're like, "What? Huh? You lost to this?" Don't get me wrong. Pitt's not that category because Pitt is actually a good team.
Right.
But I think they're susceptible. I mean, they let Boston College hang around into the fourth.
Hang around, yeah. Last week, yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, it was good that they put up big numbers on Navy, which is, cool, but it's like,
right.
Boston College is not good at all. I don't think they have a win this year.
I think they maybe against like UMass or something. They probably beat some random team, but yeah. No, I think they're susceptible too. Carr was good early in the season, their quarterback, but he's kind of fallen off. But I mean, if they get the run game going with Love and Price, they are really hard to stop because Love's a stud. But yeah,
can't wait for him to wear that burgundy and gold.
Oh yeah. Oh, for you can be a commander.
I hope so. It doesn't even matter. We need anybody, bro. I'm not even a Commanders fan. I don't care about that team.
Right.
But they're just really bad. Ooh, Chris Olave touchdown. Is Tyler Shuck good?
He's looking better than Rattler, which I mean isn't saying much, but maybe. We got some. Holy crap! 13-0 Dolphins over the Bills. What's going on there? Some interesting early game headlines here.
It is.
All right, we want to wrap up after that then, is what you're saying?
Yes. Do you have anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, that was pretty much it.
Oh,
I think, yeah.
We didn't talk about Lincoln Riley.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I think Yankee stays. We talked about him a little bit, like going to Auburn, but I think he stays. I just don't understand leaving. Unless it's LSU.
A good. How about not leaving, but how do you understand if USC were to fire him? Would you be surprised if this week, does USC play this week?
Yeah, they got Iowa at home this week, so not an easy one.
So if they lose to Iowa this week, bad. If Iowa puts up 42 points on USC this week, would that be enough for you to fire Lincoln Riley?
I think he's got like a $65 million buyout, but they got the money's not an issue. They got the money. It could be because they got Iowa this week and then they go to Oregon next week. So it's a tough back-to-back week. I think they could beat Iowa at home. At Oregon's going to be tough, but I mean, they're still alive. They got to win out and beat Oregon to get into playoffs. So, like, I think the only way he gets fired if they lose out, that would be losing Iowa, losing Oregon, and losing UCLA at home. That would be really bad. Like, that would be really bad. But yeah, I just don't see it. If he wants to leave on his own, that's fine. I just if I were him, who are you leaving for? Unless it's LSU, I don't understand who you're leaving for.
Would you want to go back to Oklahoma?
Oh, they wouldn't welcome him back. Like I don't even know if he's allowed back in the state to recruit. Like he is hated there. Like, and Venables isn't doing bad. Like he's doing all right. Like he's doing an okay job.
What would you think? Do you think Sark could leave Texas to go to like the NFL?
The NFL, I think, is the only place Sark leaves for. It shouldn't be the Titans. Like maybe the Dolphins.
Do you think Riley would go to the NFL?
I think he used to be a big NFL kind of contender to get a job there. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that shine's kind of worn off a little bit because people are just seeing like the last 2 years is the best defense he's had. And the last 2 years, our defense has just been okay. Like it's been nothing special. So I don't know if he's still got the NFL like attention still. So I don't see him leaving for the NFL. I could see Sark leaving for the NFL though.
What about, do you think Cliff Kingsbury makes his return to the college football?
He'd be interesting at Auburn, maybe. He'd be interesting at Virginia Tech, maybe Oklahoma State, because he knows the Big 12.
LSU
he coached at Texas
makes
Tech.
A lot of sense.
Oh, man, I don't know.
But maybe, what about Penn State?
Penn State could be interesting, yeah.
Because, I mean, he's still getting paid by Arizona Cardinals, so that's
still getting paid by them, yeah.
And then you can get, because I just think the emphasis for Penn State, obviously we can recruit every position, but quarterback. So I feel like you got to bring a quarterback guru. Like,
yeah,
that's what I feel like. I think Auburn and Cliff could be interesting because, again, he's a guy who has a system. He can call plays. That's been a weak point.
Right.
Penn State, you need someone who can call plays and be a difference maker and, bring quarterbacks in and develop. He sees talent. He knows talent and make a difference. Like, I think those are two spots I would be like. Florida would be good too because, I mean,
Florida would be good. Even keep Lagway. He'd probably get more out of Lagway than obviously we've seen so far.
Right. So I'll be interested in that.
That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting hire.
All right. Okay. I think we've praised enough of this past Saturday.
We have, yeah. Gone to church long enough, yeah.
Yeah. I think we did a good job. I feel good. I feel like I got my hatred out of the ACC and the Big 12 out. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
I'm good, yeah. That was a good one, yep.
This has been a good show. Thank you guys for watching Saturdays Are Sacred here on Sports Fluent Network. Make sure you follow Sports Fluent on all of their social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, X, and to keep it locked here every Sunday at noon as we discuss the past Saturday in college football. Until next Saturday, let's keep praising the SEC. All right?
No. All right, man. Take care. We'll see you next Saturday or next Sunday.
Yes.
All right, man.
Snap back, quarterback rolling right. He's looking end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
Saturdays are sacred. The Football Podcast.